everyone, it's Peter Pinson, the Mayor of Port Macquarie Hastings Council, and this is our last In the Chair with the Mayor session. Now, I have been trying to hunt this lady down for a while, and she's very, very busy, but I finally got her for the last In the Chair with the Mayor. Welcome to our CEO, Dr Clare Allen.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. And thank you for agreeing as well. So what we're going to have a bit of a chat about today is the last 12 months that you and I have had together as the senior leadership team, really. The CEO and the Mayor, we work really closely together, but I'd really like people to get a bit of an insight in what it's been like for you these last 12 months, because I guess if we start off, the mandate you were given when you were engaged through your contract and employed was definitely change management, and just share with people what that's been like for you as far as the CEO is concerned.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Look, it's really fantastic to come into a community where you can actually live and work in a community, because we're making fundamental decisions, you and I, for the community around infrastructure, around a sense of belonging for everybody. And so it's a big responsibility, right? We know that we're actually heralding people's views, we're making sure that we've got capacity across our business. So it's a big responsibility, and I recognise that. So when I came here, I didn't have that local government background. So I didn't actually have the carbon cutout of what a local government CEO or GM should look like. And I'm glad about that. And the reason I'm glad is that I can come with a business lens. So my background has been basically working in the charity sector, private enterprise, and basically working across different government organisations as well. So everything I do has a business lens. But it's a little bit rare because I come with a heart-centred approach. And that's really difficult to find out there in the community. And hence why I've always stepped into some really big jobs, simply because I come with a heart-centred approach as well as a business lens. And sometimes people are suspicious of that. You're a very generous person, I'm sure. People are suspicious at your generosity in terms of the community, but I know that you're incredibly genuine with what you do in your approach to the community, and people see that. And when you know someone's genuine, that makes all the difference.
Look, and thank you for saying that. That was really important to me as a mayor, that our community, their voices were heard, their expectations were met. And it is hard to meet the expectations of our community at times, especially in times of hardship that we've gone through, with the floods and the bushfires. And I mean, you copped it all really from the moment that you hit the ground running, and might I say that you've dealt with it really well. But just share with us, I mean, there must be some moments where you reflect and you think that was really a tough moment for me, or a tough decision I had to make. Is there one that kind of stands out for you?
Look, wherever I go, I embark on a change mandate, but I'm not somebody who moves the chairs around on the Titanic, right? I don't make change just for change's sake. But we've come here with an organisation that really is way behind the times. It's way behind the times from a technology perspective. It's way behind the times in terms of that level of innovation, and also in terms of process and governance. So when I went through and looked at the business excellence framework, I could see that we were scoring pretty low across a number of things. Continuous improvement, humanising our brand so we could really connect with the community was an important aspect for me. So when I came on board, I thought, right, we need to make those changes. But you're right, what happened is we had all of the floods. We then went into COVID. So you come as a CEO with a change mandate and you've got people really hurting. So number one, they're going to hurt because you're changing the way that they work. You're actually setting up some key performance indicators. You're trying to get people to think out of the box. You're trying to get people to humanise the brand, and suddenly their whole world has been tipped upside down. And because I'm a heart-centred leader, I think to myself, wow, our people are really struggling here. They're struggling because they've been affected within the community. But not only that, they've got neighbours that have been affected. They live and they work in this community. It's not like they can just fly in, do their job and fly out like some government employees do. They live here. They hear the stories. They're part of it. And so I really wanted to make sure we could instill a sense of pride in their job as well. So I had to kind of slow down some of that change management process, knowing that I needed to embed in good governance to be able to jump to the next level. So if you know anything about managing change, it takes a minimum of 18 months to change culture. 18 months. So I've been here now 20 months, right? And I can tell you, how do you affect mass change? So as a CEO, I'm hard on myself. How do I affect mass change to bring us up to be a contemporary organisation when we've just gone through floods? When we've had $90 million worth of flood damage? How do I then increase the infrastructure for our community when I've got this backlog of work? So they're massive challenges for us. But they're fantastic challenges because if we get the governance right, if we actually can start being more strategic, which I know we are, then we can accelerate. And I'm starting to see a tipping point. So the tipping point is in an organisation where suddenly things are going on the status, right? They're just flowing through, but there's not much change. And you think, am I making a difference as a new CEO? Am I really making a difference? And then suddenly a few things flip over. Suddenly you've got things being more systematic. Suddenly you've got people starting to jump on the top 10 priorities. Suddenly you've got people championing new ways of doing things, humanizing your brand, and you go, we're reaching a tipping point. So 20 months we're starting a tipping point. Give it another 12 months and that tipping point will be even more. And suddenly the community will go, wow, I can't believe the progress that we're making.
I think that's really important, especially for our community out there, because I do get asked quite a lot, you know, how are things going in there, and, you know, how's the CEO handling stuff? And I always say that, you know, you handle things extremely well. You're a very measured woman. We're very lucky to have you. And you did say right at the outset, 18 months was going to be, you know, the start where we could really expect some things to happen. I think giving the community confidence that, you know, we are making inroads, but most importantly, it's really important that our community hears that, you know, we don't necessarily get it right all the time. I mean, classic example, Christmas tree, right, hey guys? You know, and it is okay. It is okay to make mistakes in an organisation, but it's really important that we learn from those mistakes and obviously move on from them. So we've talked about challenges, we've talked about change management, which is something I'm excited that you're embarking on, and I'm starting to see some really great results there. But let's talk about, you know, something optimistic and something great. What has been probably one of the most wonderful things that has happened for you as CEO in these last 12 months?
It's probably going to be very boring for you when I say it, but actually getting the functional business plans done across the business has been really exciting to me. And I'll explain why. So when you start on business excellence, people don't understand what KPIs are, key performance indicators are. They don't focus on results. They don't celebrate success. So actually getting them implemented across the business is a massive achievement. And the reason for that is people can go, wow, look what we've achieved, because local government professionals are often the unsung heroes. So people go, oh, what did they do? What did council do? But now we can actually say, well, this is actually what we achieved, and this is what we're actually doing. So that's been a really monumental thing for me to get that in place. But on top of that, we've started to react really quickly with customer inquiries. So we're now closing things out a lot faster than we did before. We're actually humanizing the brand. So I can see the letters that we put out to the customer are saying, we're listening to you. We're sorry we didn't get it quite right, but give us another go, give us another chance. And the community's saying, oh, that's a different approach from council. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that level of human approach from our staff. But I think the other thing is I've started to see staff really step up. So, you know, in organizations, when the rubber meets the road, you start to see those really talented people accelerate. So for those that want to know a little bit about my background, and they probably wonder, what has she got a doctorate in? It's basically looking at talent in organizations. And my understanding is that in the next decade, we're going to have people retiring in the droves. So that means there's this big backlog of people that can step up and fill key positions. So for us, I have a responsibility and a mandate to give opportunities for talented people to really grow and make a difference. That's got to be good for our community. And I've started to see that, and that really, really excites me.
It excites me too. Look, there's a saying that you plant a seed today, you can't expect to pick the fruit from it tomorrow. And I guess that really is about change management. What we do right today, we're not going to see the benefits of it for a time to come. So I guess, wrapping up, what can our community expect to see from the organisation in 2023 as we leave 2022 behind, and I'm sure some of us are quite happy to do that. I really do want to be optimistic and think that, there's some really great things ahead for our community, but what will the organisation provide to our ratepayers and our residents in the Port Macquarie Hastings region?
Very good question. So we really understand that we need to provide value for money. So we need to make sure that we provide exceptional services to our community, and that we're really responsible with every single dollar that we get in from our ratepayers, that we can put back into our community. Now that means for us, let's face it, we didn't have on the agenda the new sewer treatment plant or the water treatment plant, but we now have a goal, 2028. Every year we're going to be working towards that goal so we meet that target. That's great for our community, because that means that we can actually fast track some of those developments. It means that you're not going to basically face problems in your homes. It means that we're doing the underground work in terms of what needs to be done. You can feel comfortable that nothing's going to fall apart, because we're going to make sure that we've got a plan in place to take care of that. You're going to see better road surfacing, so we put a lot of money in terms of our infrastructure for our community, but you're also going to see us being more progressive in terms of listening to the community around precinct planning, master planning, making sure that we've got clear plans for our community, that no voice gets unheard. Just because you live in a more regional area in terms of at the back of Comboyne or Papenbarra doesn't mean that your voice isn't just as important. So I'm really massive on that. That for me, having worked in regional communities for a large part of my career, I do not want people left out. I want to make sure that when we do our planning, when we take in our rates, we understand those communities are unique. What we do in the North Shore is not the same in Papenbarra, and what we actually do in Comboyne is very different to what we do in the Port CBD or in Bonny Hills or Lake Cat. Everybody is unique, and a council that goes out with a cookie cutter approach gets back very static responses from the community. What we need to do is we need to evolve and be really contemporary and listen to people, but not over consult, right? Because they're fatigued. We actually need to listen, hear, put that into practice.
And that's great summing up for how we're feeling at this time of the year. Slightly fatigued, but we are going to experience a wonderful Christmas in a beautiful region like the Port Macquarie Hastings region. Dr. Clare, thank you for spending some time and having a chat with our community and letting them know, what a big job it is that you have, and it's great that you've taken the time, you've shared that with me so we can share it with all of you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.